So welcome everyone. In case I forgot to mention it or you just joined in, my name is Mary. I'm filling in for Natalia today. And I would like us to start just by taking a comfortable posture, either sitting or lying down. Most of the time I say lying down. It's one of the most relaxing ways. You can start to let the spine unwind, keep the knees bent if you have any issues with the back, and then just start to get comfortable and allow yourselves to maybe do a couple of little shifts, a little adjustments, little rocking side to side, whatever needs to happen. And then maybe just a little rock of your head side to side. And it doesn't have to be completely straight. It doesn't have to be looking up to the ceiling. It can be a little to the side, wherever your head naturally wants to be. Then just focus in on those shoulders, maybe give them a little shimmy. And again, it's fairly early in the day, so if you are a late riser and you just recently got up, maybe you're just doing your first movements of the day. Maybe you've already been up since before dawn and you've got a lot of stuff done. So wherever you are in your day, it doesn't really matter. It always is time to reset the body and just allow yourselves to melt down onto your mats. Once we found a comfortable position on our mats, maybe do a little wiggle of those fingers and those wrists. They tend to do a lot of movement during the day. We pick up things, we move around. We don't really pay attention to these joints, these digits. So give them a little wander around and then just let them lie. And then, if you have access to those feet, if you've completely outstretched those legs, you might be able to wiggle those toes and move those ankles. If you've got knees bent, maybe just cross one ankle over your thigh and maybe wiggle those toes so that the leg is supported. You're not holding it up, and then do a couple of ankle rotations and then switch to the other side. Whatever feels good for you, just notice how the ankles and the wrists feel, and then give those little toes a wiggle and those little fingers a wiggle. And then once we've done that, let's talk about our face. Again, most of our communication is with our face. So before we can learn to speak, well, before we even have a concept of language, we're still able to express through our face. So we have a lot of muscles in the face, and we're just going to try and relax them. So let the lips part, let the tongue feel heavy in the back of the mouth. Let the eyes start to soften. Just give yourself some time to feel the body. We're always moving, we're always thinking, and we very rarely have time to think about the body. And then once we've just started to relax the face, the shoulders, those fingers, those toes, those ankles, those wrists, take your first nice deep breath in, big inhale. Go ahead and just let it go. Do that a couple of times. Big inhale. Notice how your shoulders probably rise up when you take a deep breath in. And then exhale, let it go. We're probably using our ribs, our traps. We're using all of these muscles for these great big movements. Big inhale. And then exhale, let it go. Now that we've taken some of those big, forceful breaths, some of these very aware breaths, now I want us to tone it back a little bit. Try not to move the shoulders. Let the shoulders just relax and try and rise up the belly. So take a deep breath and rise up the belly. And then we're slowly letting the air escape. Big difference between those big breaths. It's sort of like the difference between moving quickly to catch something that's fallen versus moving intentionally, nice and slowly, because you're enjoying the movement. So, right now, we're just enjoying the way the breath is entering into the body and slowly leaving the body. And with these slower breaths, we can notice that the body can start to relax. This is where the slower the breath is, the more the body can start to relax. And you're going to start to notice maybe things that you didn't have time to when you were up and moving about. So just go ahead and start to inhale through the nose if we haven't done so, and then try and exhale through the nose. Taking those deep breaths, rising the belly, and then slowly letting the belly sink. Maybe we notice our back body instead of our trapezius and our shoulders rising up. And then maybe we notice them allowing themselves to melt down. Maybe the lumbar surface of your spine is a little bit more relaxed. We're just finding some of the nice length in that spine fully supported. Do a couple of more nice deep breaths here. Again, just taking time in your own body. Maybe we know that we've had some injury or some kind of sensation that has appeared in our body and we need to take some care of it. And this is a good time to take in some breaths, send that oxygen, send that awareness to that joint so that we are cognizant of it when we do our practice this morning. Two more nice deep breaths. Slowly exhale, relax the shoulders, relax around the eyes, relax the digits and the fingers and the toes. One more big inhale and exhale. Now that we've done that, if we have our legs outstretched, bend one knee, bend the other knee. Go ahead and bring one of your knees into your chest. Just hold on to it, pull it in nice and tight. And once we've got that knee in nice and tight, give that ankle a little wander around. Do it the other way. And then same hand as knee, just hold on to that knee, put the other hand down on the floor, and then just give a little circle, holding that knee, a little circle just to start to see how that hip is feeling. We'll get into a little bit more of the hips today as well as the pelvic floor. So we're just starting to make that movement with that knee. You might notice that the shoulder is moving a little bit as well. Wherever you feel comfortable, that range of motion. And then once we've done that a few times, let's rotate the other way. And while we're supporting the knee, it shouldn't be too big of a movement, but we have the weight of the femur into the hip socket. So the bone is connecting in while we're lying on our back. So instead of the pressure being from the upper body down onto the femur is now pressing down into the hip socket. So just a little bit difference for the body. Once you've rotated a few times, go ahead, put that foot right back down on the floor. Pull the other knee into the chest so that we're getting that hip flexor to activate. Anytime you pull that knee up or lift the leg up, that hip flexor has to work. Couple of deep breaths here as you pull it in nice and tight, just to feel that hip flexor engage. And then once we've done that, go ahead and place the opposite hand down so you're supported, grab onto the knee, and then do some circles. Now, again, I'm not worried which direction you take those circles. You're just opening up that hip nice and gentle, thinking about how that leg bone is connected into the socket and how it has to move around. It's not using too much muscle because we're holding onto it with the hand and we're just letting it float around. And then once we've let that knee float around a few times, go ahead and pull both of the knees into the chest. Now that we've got both of our knees into the chest, maybe it might feel comforting to rock a little side to side. Sometimes rocking on the spine a little side to side feels good. And then once we've rocked a little side to side, maybe we add in both of those knees in a circular direction. So I'm going around in one way. And after I've done that a few times, I might change directions. Now, if one way feels particularly good to you, then stay in that one way, because now we're getting the sacrum involved, the lower pelvis. Before it was entirely the hip. Now we're using the knees to engage the entire pelvis. I'm going to change my circles the other way. So if you want to go the other way, you're just supporting those knees, giving those nice little circles around, and giving some love to that sacrum. Let's place the feet down one at a time so it's not a jarring movement. We're going to take those hands out. I like to go with these cactus arms, and then that opens up the chest a little bit. But if you want to reach those hands out nice and wide, you can do so. And then we're just letting those knees drop a little to one side. Doesn't have to touch the floor. And then the other side. So now we're getting the pelvis and the hips. It's an internal and external rotation. So we're just letting the knees drop to one side. Then we're just slowly bringing it back to the other side. If we've lost connection with the breath, no problem. The breath is one of those things that if you're not thinking about it, it takes care of itself. But we can think about it and control it. So now we're just going to start to slow the movement down and exhale as you come down. Inhale, slowly rise the knees up. Exhale the other way and inhale, come up. If you want to get cervical spine involved, your neck, when you drop your knees to one side, look opposite. So now we're getting a different type of twist. We're getting the cervical and generally the thoracic. So we're just gently turning side to side. We're now starting to wake up that spine in a nice supported manner. Inhale to come into neutral. Exhale, twisting the spine. Inhale, coming to neutral. Exhale, twisting the spine. We'll do that one more time each way. You can go a little faster than me, but I always encourage a slower movement. We move fast all the time. And fast is great when you're on the move, but when you're trying to locate different parts of the body and how the sensation feels going slower, it just allows the time for the body to understand. Let's go ahead and bring ourselves back into a neutral position. And then take your hands and bring them up over your shoulders. Now that we've got our hands up over our shoulders, I want us to take one hand and just float it above our head. See if there's anything above you. If there's anything above you, just move it out of the way. And then switch the other hand. So now we're working into shoulders. So inhale, one hand up, stack over the shoulder, and then exhale the other one. Same idea. Your humerus bone, very similar to your femur, is now getting pressed into the shoulder. Normally, you have your hands down at your side, they're lower than your heart, and you're getting the pull out of the shoulder. So now we're just working with the hands above the head, getting that nice stretch. It's a gentle one. If you want to make the movement bigger, bring those hands down by your side and reach one fingertip to the bottom of your mat, the other one above your head. Again, it doesn't have to be as big a movement if we have any shoulder issues, any impingement. It doesn't have to go right over the head. One inhale, and then exhale to move the other way, slowing nice and down. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Let's bring both of those hands down by our sides now. So both of the hands are down by your sides, palms face down. Give that head a little shake side to side. And we're going to start to roll up the pelvis. So instead of where we normally just lift straight up by pressing into our heels, walk your heels a little bit closer. And before we lift up, I just want you to tip your tailbone up and press the lower part of your back into the mats. So it's just a little tip, and hopefully you can see it. So this is me neutral. There's a little gap in between my back and the mat, almost like a grape could sit under there and not be squashed. And then we're going to tilt the pelvis up, and it's going to squish that grape. It's an imprinting of the spine. So go ahead and lower, give that little gap, and then exhale, tilt the pelvis and engage the pelvic floor. We'll do that a couple of more times. I'm going to come up and take a look. So we're just little movement as we tip the pelvis up, pressing the back into the mat, and then lowering back down. Looks beautiful. One more time. Big inhale, lifting up, and then exhale, coming back down. Now that we've got our feet close, if we need to make any adjustments, we can. Our hands are relaxed, our head's shaking out. We're going to peel ourselves entirely up off the floor. So tilt the pelvis. Now, vertebrae by vertebrae, lift up until it's comfortable for you to come up. You don't even have to come up to those shoulder blades. And then we're going to go vertebrae by vertebrae, and it's a very slow and controlled movement. You're using your hip flexors, you're using your pelvic floor, you're using your glutes and your hamstrings, and then we're back on the floor for neutral spine. So inhale, tip the tailbone, lifting up vertebrae by vertebrae. Some of us will be able to get a little higher than others, but I want you to come into a neutral spine. So we're not arching the back, not a full bridge pose, slowly rolling back down with control. Now, if you have tight hip flexors, you're going to feel it in the tops of the legs right in this posture here. It's going to be feeling a little bit tight as you come up. That's okay. It's a nice little stretch. You're curling the pelvis to activate the floor. And then we're also adding the breath. So inhale to roll all the way up. Nice and slow, giving every single vertebrae a time to get its own opportunity to touch the mat on the way down. Let's do this two more times. Big inhale. We're starting to feel those hamstrings kick in, the glutes, the back. Slowly lower vertebrae by vertebrae. And we'll join in for one more, tipping the pelvis, lifting up slowly, rising up, and then lowering back down. Now that we've done this vertebrae movement, articulating each of the vertebrae, now we're just going to come up to your so your hands are down at your side, your heels are close to the bum, feet are about hip distance apart, and we're going to lift up as a solid unit. So we're pressing into the heels and just lift up. No more curving of the spine. It's just a straight lift up, and then it's a simple lower down. So a big inhale, big difference. We're now not manipulating the spine. We're starting to feel the work of the hamstrings and the glutes a little bit more. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lower back down. One more time, lifting up. Now, it's so important to work the glutes. We sit a lot, and those glutes can get a little on the lazy side. So, we want to make sure that we get some activation. Put the bums down. Take one of your hands above your head. The other one is down by your side. And again, if we have any shoulder issues and that range of motion isn't quite there yet, you can start with the hand stacked over the shoulder. But if you can, we're going to lift up our butt and change our hands. So lift all the way up, change the hands, and then exhale, come back down to the floor. So now we're starting to manipulate the shoulders as well. So as you rise one hand up over and one down, you're going to notice that the shoulder blades are shifting. So when the shoulder blades are lifting and you've got some pressure as you lift up, you're also getting no winging of the shoulder blades, because as you lift up, those shoulder blades can't wing out behind you. Some of us notice that we might have, or we've gone to a therapist, a physiotherapist, and they've said your shoulder blades are winging. When we come up and we do these kind of movements, those shoulder blades cannot move away from the rib cage. So we're training our body to use those muscles the way they were supposed to be designed, as opposed to with that forward fold. Okay, one more time, reaching your hand above the head, the other one comes to the floor, and bring it back down. Now, whichever hand was above your head, switch it. So just switch the other one to be above your head. So now when we lift our bum, the other shoulder is going to get the compression. So go ahead and lift up, swap the hands, and then slowly come down. Inhale, lift up, swap, and then exhale, come back down. We should be getting a little bit of a nice massage on those shoulders. We're trying to keep the chaps away from the ears, so we're pulling the shoulders down. They're going to naturally want to lift up when we reach the hand over the head, and that's fine. They can lift up a little bit, but we don't want to have those shoulders right up by the ears. Two more times. Inhale, lifting up, squeeze the bum, come as high or as low as you need to. Exhale. One more time. Big inhale to lift all the way, and then exhale, lower back down. Bring both of those hands above your head. And you're going to notice that when you bring your hands above your head, your ribs start to flare up, right? So we're starting to get that stretch through the abdominals. If you want to go all the way and completely stretch out those abdominals, lengthen one leg out just to see how it feels. If the back is a little bit too much today, keep the knees bent, and then lengthen out the other one. And just notice how the entire rectus abdominis, this whole front of your body, has to stretch out after we've been doing a little bit of work in the posterior. We're focusing a little bit on the anterior stretching. Take a nice deep breath in, rise the belly up. Exhale, let it go. We might even feel a nice little stretch through the ribs, through the front part of the body. One more time, a nice big inhale. And an exhale, relax. If you have those legs outstretched, bend one knee, bend the other. Go ahead and bring one hand down, followed by the other. This way we're not jarring the body with sharp movements. Roll onto one of your sides and come on up to seated. So we worked a little bit into the posterior there. Find a comfortable seat. Again, if you have blocks around, we're going to be using them in the later part of the class if you need them. If you want to sit on the block, again, it just depends on how you feel. We'll be sitting for a little bit. When you sit on the block and you bring your butt right to the edge of the block, it allows those knees to come forward. It tips the pelvis, and then we can have those shoulders up, back, and down. If you're completely fine to sit on the floor and you don't have any kind of tension in those hips, feel free just to give a little rock side to side, and then you're in your nice seated position. All right. Let's do a big shoulder roll up, back, and down. Hopefully, the backs of the shoulders have gotten a little bit of massage. We'll do it again. A nice big inhale, rise all the way up, pull them back and down. Let's take our first inhale with our hands out to the sides, laterally look up to the ceiling. And then slowly exhale, bring the chin to the chest and bring those palms down with you. Inhale, rising all the way up, look to the sky. So we did side to side movement with the head. Now it's going to be up and down. Thinking about all the times that we look down, we very rarely look up to the sky. Exhale, floating back down. And we'll do this one more time. Again, a big focus is breath because we don't use the full capacity of our lungs. So it's so important that when we're in our yoga practices to be aware of how we can breathe. Big inhales, rising up. Once you get to the top of this one, interlace your fingers and press them to the ceiling. Okay, so it's a nice big stretch here, really elongating. But now we have to use the muscles, isometrically contracting the back muscles and the front muscles to get those palms to the sky. And then once the palms are to the sky, let's go ahead and dive to your right side. So just give a little stretch out to the right side. Keep pressing those palms out. Inhale, come back up. So now we're getting into the lateral side flexions. And come back up. So we're looking neutral as opposed to down to the floor. We're looking straight ahead. Maybe we close our eyes. Anytime you close your eyes during a practice point, as long as you're not balancing and you're completely comfortable, like in a seated or lying position, it just takes out one of the factors that bring information into the brain. So your eyes give you a lot of information. And when those eyes are looking around, it's not just the information about what they see, but things that are moving around you. Let's add on to this movement. Let's bring the right hand down, let the left come over your head, make it a bigger stretch. So when we close those eyes, we take a little bit of that information away from the brain, and the other senses have to pick up. So we start to notice our muscles. We start to notice feelings. We start to notice smells and sounds a little bit more when one of the other senses is no longer in the game. So if you're able to close your eyes and just float back and forth, just noticing the ribs now, noticing your breath. Then once we've done that, bring both of the hands all the way up. We'll start with twist. Bring that right hand to the left knee. Let those hands float down. Inhale, look all the way up to the sky, cervical spine. Exhale, twist that thoracic spine. Inhale, looking up. Again, eyes open or close. One more time to inhale all the way up. Twist out. And then inhale, come up and bring those hands down. Place them on your knees now. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down. And then we're going to take the shoulder, the right shoulder, and bring it to the left knee this way. So give a little twist. And now you're dropping the shoulder down, stretching out the back of the arm, and look over that right shoulder. And then bring yourself back up. And then do the same thing on the other side. So you go to where you're comfortable. Now, quadriceps lumboris, QL, is back here. It's just above your butt, and it's in the back. And that one tends to get a little bit testy at times. Sometimes we feel that muscle. It's the one that tends to like to spasm. It takes a lot of the work when we are leaning forward. So we're just stretching it out with support of the hands, and we're not using it. We're stretching it without holding the body up. And then we're getting that shoulder to revolve forward. So exhale, revolve, look over that shoulder as much as you can. Inhale, come up. Exhale, revolve, stretch QL, stretch the back of the shoulder, rear deltoid, come back up. We'll do it one more time on the other side to even it out. And then inhale, coming back up. All right. So now that we've done a few of those stretches, maybe we're starting to feel the QL release, a little bit of the shoulders. Take a big inhale, rise all the way up. We're going to add on to this one. Bring those hands to an interlace. Dive over to the right side. Just a little movement at the shoulder. So we're not coming. I'm going to turn to the side. So when we come forward, we're not leaning forward. We're just rolling the shoulders forward. We're coming to the side. and then we're coming back. So it's really from here, from this rib. It's not a full reach. We're not bending the spine. We're staying up nice and tall, and it's just a little cave so that the ribs don't flare. When we have our hands above our head, the ribs flare up. What I want us to do is do a little abdominal crunch when we come forward. Okay, so let's try it together. We're going to go ahead and start this time on the left side. So we've already started on the right. Come over to the side. Do a little abdominal crunch, hollow out the belly, then roll over to the right, and then come back, maybe a little back bend. Exhale, lateral crunch. Then we do an abdominal crunch. We bring it over to the side. And now we're working these shoulders. We're holding these hands up above our heads. And we're trying to imagine that we have a very impressive hula hoop right around the top of your rib cage that is going so slow that we're defying gravity because it's going so slow. Let's go back to the other side again. So right, a little forward, bring it to the left, open up the chest. So it's a side flexion. It is a crunch of the abdominals. It's a side flexion again, and it's an extension. One more time. Those arms are probably starting to feel the effect of being held above in the air. Let's go ahead and bring them down and shake them out. A little bit of shoulder work. All right. Now that we've done the shoulders, let's take it. I always recommend having a sip of water. So if you have a sip of water around, take a sip of water. And then we're going to transition our position and grab a couple of blocks. If you have any kind of issues with the knee with being on a hard surface, then make sure you have extra padding. I ended up grabbing, I'm on hardwood floors here. So I ended up grabbing a towel from the room so that I can put my knee on it. We're going to have our two blocks in front of us. And I'm going to start with my right knee on the towel or something soft, or roll up your mat. Bring your blocks in front of you and then step through with the left. Yeah, everyone have their blocks. Amazing. All right, so walk those blocks out so that you can lean forward. And again, we're not using the back to do this one because we have our hands on our blocks. And then walk that foot, that left foot, up into the front. So if it was here in a 90-90, like a 90 degree and a 90 degree, see if you can walk it up a little bit so that we have a little bit of a bend in the knee, and then we can walk those blocks a little bit more forward. Straighten out your back so that we have a nice long spine. And then we're going to bend that left knee and bring ourselves into that hip flexor. Walk those blocks up until you feel comfortable. And then what I want us to do is go ahead and straighten the left knee. Doesn't have to be completely straight, and bring your nose down towards your knee. So now we're getting that hip stretch, that hamstring stretch. Go ahead and inhale, coming forward. Now we're not dropping the hips. This is where we have to engage the pelvic floor. So instead of doing one of these where the whole hip is dropping down, we're pulling up and bringing our chest forward, squeezing that back butt cheek, so the right butt cheek. So lowering back down, bringing the nose towards the knee, and then coming forward, trying not to tip the pelvis forward. When we came into those back ones, we were tipping the pelvis forward. We're now trying to keep that abdominal crunch as you come forward, and that's going to feel more in your glute and the hip and activate that pelvic floor. So pressing back, we can look at that big toe on the left. And again, it doesn't matter how close you get. I have a lot of flexibility so I can come down nicely. And then we're going to keep the pelvis forward and then press down, and that knee just travels a little forward. Don't worry how far that knee travels. It's all about in here and the pelvic floor. 2 more times, you're pressing back, coming forward. Feel that engagement of the core, feel the hip working, feel the pelvic floor pulling up. 1 more time, go ahead and let the butt roll back, and then bring yourself all the way up. Now we're going to come back into that neutral position. So slide your left foot right back underneath your knee. And you've got your right hand on your block. And we're going to take it for a bit of a twist. So my shoulder is right underneath my hand, or it's right above my hand, I should say. And then we're going to take, if you want, you can hold on to the block and lift the block up, or just lift your hand. Sometimes I like having grip on a block, just gives me a little bit more awareness. And then exhale, bring the hand back to the block or tap the block to the floor. So option is inhale, just the hand alone, back up to the ceiling for this twist. And remember, we're not letting the abdominals go. So we're not feeling the pelvic floor push down. We're pulling it up, especially when we twist. So engage the core to lift up and then reach for the sky. And then exhale, lower back down. And we might be pressing into that left foot. We'll do this 2 more times. Press into the floor with the left foot, the right hand, lifting the hand or the block up, sucking the belly up in towards the spine, and then coming back down. Let's go ahead and take the left hand and put it inside of the foot, the left foot. Okay. And walk your left foot out on the diagonal. Can everyone see I've taken my toe and I've turned it outward? So you've got a little bit. If you want to move that leg out a little bit more, you can. It doesn't matter how much you move that leg out. I just want you to have access to the hip. And then we're going to walk those blocks forward and we're going to take the knee out to the side. Okay. So again, we're engaging the pelvic floor. So instead of letting that belly hang down and do all these fun things down here, we're sucking the belly up and we're just pushing forward and backwards. So push out that knee towards the second and third toe on the diagonal and then come back in. 2 more times, press that knee out to the side. Now we're starting to get into that opening here, an external rotation. Come back in. You're holding yourself up through the chest. 1 more time, press out to the side and come back in. Now, if you want to take it for a little bit of a spin, so again, I'm going to change the direction. So I have my blocks on the inside, shoulders are back, pelvis floor is engaged by engaging my core, sucking it up, toe turned out, knee bent. Let's go ahead and bring it for a circle. Circle that knee around. So now we're doing similar to what we did earlier, except the motion is coming from the hip. And we're doing a little circle around. And again, I'm not worried about how much of a circle you're doing. We're just going around in these circles. 1 more time in this direction, suck the belly up. So we are engaging that pelvic floor and then take the knee out, circle around and pull the belly in when you come back. So we're taking that knee around, pull up 2 more times, circle around, pull back. Last time, a big circle around and pull back. Let's go ahead and bring that knee back in. Put those blocks down for a second. Take a seated, comfortable position. I happen to be kneeling and just release those wrists because we've been doing a lot of holding on the upper body. So we did a lot of movements here. We did a lot of side ones, and now we're holding our body weight up. Okay, so it's not as aggressive as a full push-up or a plank, but you're still leaning forward and putting the pressure on your shoulders. So if you need to give a couple of shoulder rolls, a little roll of those wrists, go ahead and do it because we're going to do the other side. Maybe even interlace those fingers and do one of these. Sometimes that's fun. What I used to do with the youngers, when I used to teach the younger classes, I'd even get them to do one of these where they cross their wrists over and pull in. Anyone do these ones? And then you get the kids to move one of their fingers. So just wiggle those fingers and then pull it back out. 1 more time, a nice big inhale, moving those wrists, and then exhale, back out. All right, so is everyone good to go on the other side? All righty, so finding those 2 blocks, finding some comfort for those knees. Left knee is on the padding. It's the one that's back. Right foot comes forward and we've located those blocks again. We're doing some nice work with gripping too. A lot of the time we don't grip things. We use these fingers and that. So grip those blocks, walk it forward and walk that right foot a little bit more forward. Okay, so now that we've got this positioning, we're probably noticing that our bellies have disengaged. So pull the bellies up, tuck in that tailbone, and then come forward. So again, pulling upwards instead of letting the belly hang and feeling that hip flexor, walk those hands a little bit more forward. And then slowly push the bum back, bringing the nose towards the knee. So inhale, pelvis stays tucked. Maybe we look a little forward. Sometimes when we do these ones, we look all the way to the sky and we do a back bend. What I want us to do is keep the pelvic floor engaged the whole time. It's a completely different movement when we're doing the whole big back bend. We're not doing any back bend right now. We're just coming into hip flexor and engaging the core so that we can breathe and press back and not disengage the pelvis. Inhale, coming forward. 2 more times. Exhale. Again, you might notice that you can lengthen out a little bit more as those hamstrings and glutes start to realize that we're taking in the motion a little bit bigger. And one more time. Go ahead and come all the way back and then come back in. Walk those blocks a little bit closer. Help that foot get in line with that ankle and knee alignment. And once we have that, your left hand stays down, and the first one is the right hand that lifts off. So pull the belly up and then lift. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, come back down. If you like the idea of gripping onto that block, inhale, lift that block, press into your foot in the front, and then exhale, come back down. We're continuing to scoop the belly up. Inhale, pull the belly button into the spine. Exhale, lower back down. One more time, big inhale, lifting that arm up into the sky. And then exhale, come back down. Now that we've done that, take that block on the inside. So they're both on the inside of your foot. Walk your toe out on the diagonal. Decide how much you need to move that foot around. It can be anywhere. It can go forward, backward, side to side, as long as you've got an external rotation from the hip. We're still leaning forward into these blocks, and we're taking that knee towards the second and third toe as you press it forward. And then come back. So again, I just noticed myself, I just let my belly just go bleh. So right here, my belly just went down. So I'm going to pull it up. So you can see the difference in my hips and my pelvic floor. So let me move that block. So here is my belly just hanging out. I'm pulling up and I'm engaging through my hip flexors, pressing down to that foot. And it's a big difference here. Okay. So pressing forward and then engage the core to come back up. Pressing forward, continue that engagement. Now, if you're ready to take it for the spin, go ahead and come forward, bring it around, and then send it out. Now you can make that foot a little wider now that we're doing these circles. You can decide whether the circle goes in or out. As long as you're making that circular motion and you're engaging the core, as opposed to coming forward and just letting that belly hang, we're pulling it in and we're continuing the circle. So you feel a little bit deeper in the hip. You're still constantly engaging. You've got a little bit more tension in the shoulders because the body is tense throughout this whole circle. One more time, inhaling as you come through one part of the circle, exhaling as you come through the other one. And then let's walk that foot back in and release. So have a seat on the mat, grab some water if you need to. How are we doing so far with these movements? We good? We're feeling a little bit of these hips. Definitely engaging through the abdominals, pulling the abs up. All right. Let's go ahead and make our way to standing. Since now we've gotten into those hips, we've done some shoulders. Make your way to standing, take your time, there's no rush. And once you get up to standing, let's take those feet about hip distance apart. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down. And so this is the first time we're standing with the long spine. Little soft bend in the knee, they don't have to be locked. And then take a big inhale, rise all the way up. Interlace those fingers again. Let's take a little dive over to the right side. But now we can actually access your hips, okay? Come all the way back up and then go the other way. Now, here's how you access the hips. Before, when we were sitting on our bums, you couldn't access the hips. Come over to the right side and bend your right knee. That'll mean your left hip can actually really shoot out to the left side. And then come all the way up, soft knee bend on both. Then bend the left knee and tip. Come back up. So now we should be noticing these hips are moving side to side. So it's more than just a lateral flexion. And then the other way. Now that we've done this one, let's release the right hand, bend the right knee, and let the left hand come over the head, reaching. Inhale, come up, and then do the same thing on the other side, and come up. One more time, bend the right knee, reach the right hand down, come up, and then the other side, and come up. Interlace those fingers one more time. Soften your knees. Now, again, when we come into a little bit of a squat, you are engaging that pelvic floor again because you're bringing your ribs down towards your hips and sucking up. And we've got our hands just slightly above our face. We're going to take it for that little roll again. So come over to the right, tuck in, send it to the left, and then above. So it's just a little movement. It's not a big one. I'm not looking for big movement. I'm looking for stability in your abdominals, your hands over your head, looking maybe, I don't know, 2-3 feet ahead of you, rolling through, pulling that belly in, sinking into those heels and engaging. If you need to take a break, do it, or switch to the other side. Come over to the right, lifting up. Keep those knees soft, just a little chair pose. We'll do it 2 more times. You might notice that their hips are starting to move a little bit, and that's fine. We're standing, so the hips can take a little bit of the movement. 1 more time, around, and then let that go. Ooh, give it a shake. Since we started with that little bit of a squat, we're going to continue with it. So again, with our squats, feet are about hip distance apart, slightly turn the toes out just ever so slightly, just because the knee likes to track in line with the middle of the foot. Okay. So if it tends to come in and knock in, you get a little stress on the inside. If you go outwardly, it stresses on the other side of the knee. So you try not to rock on the feet inward and outward. We try and keep the feet flat on the floor, shoulders back and down. Take a big inhale up. Engage the belly as you sink down and bring your hands to your thighs so we're not stressing out the back the first time. So hold on to the thighs and your butt should be pulled back. Once you're here, we're going to take a big inhale to come up. Inhale all the way up. Let's sink back down again. Exhale, push the bum back, drive into the feet, push the feet out onto the side. You're not rolling onto the side. You're just trying to rip the mat in between your feet apart. 1 more time. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, place your hands on the inside of your thighs if you haven't done so already. And we're going to be able to do a standing cat-cow. So in this one, what I want us to do is put your hands on the inner thigh, round the spine, and press into your thighs. And then what we're going to do is flip the hands around underneath your hamstrings and pull yourself forward. Okay, it doesn't have to look as big as mine. Roll your hands onto the tops of your thighs, roll that spine, look at your belly button, stay into this nice squat, and then pull on your legs to lift up. So now you're actually releasing some of the pressure because you're pulling up. Press down and add the pressure around the spine. And then inhale, pull up, pull the shoulder blades away and let the belly and chest come forward. Then press on those thighs, roll the spine up, look at your belly button. 1 more time each way, grab on, pull through, shoulders come away from the ears, look up. Last one, hold on, roll through, and then start to roll all the way up. All right, little shake here. So big difference when we grab onto the backs of the legs and we pull forward, that gives us a bit more stretch. And then we push and we come down, and that activates the shoulder blades in different ways as you supinate and pronate those hands. All right, so now that we've done that, feet a little bit wider than your hips, toes slightly turned out. Take a big inhale all the way up. If you need to put your hands on your thighs, go ahead, or bring your hands through heart center, sinking into that chair. So the butts go back and down, and take a look at those knees. Are they tracking towards that second and third toe? If they're caving or pushing out too much, try and bring them back in and don't lower so far. Okay. Inhale, come all the way up. This is a good squat. When your knees track towards the toes, butts back and down, bring the hands to heart center. And again, you decide to go as low as you need to. 2 more of these. Inhale. Supported squat is hands on your thigh. Even more is hands at heart center. 1 more time, coming all the way up. And again, anytime you need to transition with those hands on those thighs, you go ahead and do it. So we're sinking down now. You decide how deep you go. Lift up that right heel and then put it back down. So we're adding weight to the left side, and then lift up the left heel. You're adding weight to the right side. We're trying not to lift the hips, just the heels. So pull the belly up and engage your pelvis. 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. It's starting to get a little burny for me. Bring it back down. The other side, up and down. If you can, let those hands relax and stand all the way up. Little hip action here. All right. We're going to go back in 1 more time. Okay. Break when you need to. Support. I like to have a chair around. So again, if we're finding that knees are not so happy and we need a little bit of a chair, we can have the chair in front of us. And instead of using our legs, we can keep our chest a little bit higher and give a little bit more support when you use a chair for this one. Okay. So if we're good to go, if you want even more of a challenge, go even wider. Okay. So now I'm in my widest stance, soft knee bend, shoulders back and down. Inhale your hands all the way up. Hands to your thighs or heart center and sink down. Remember, look at those knees. Push them towards the second and third toe. If you can't get there and the knees are in a little bit too much, walk the feet in. Okay. Rise all the way up. Exhale, sinking back down. So we've got a nice big hip opener again. 1 more time. Inhale all the way up. We're going to sink down and hold this one. We're going to lift up just the right heel. Put it back down. The left heel. Put it back down. 1 more time, right. Put it down. Keep the chest lifted. Energy is going backwards through the tailbone. Now we can lift both up. See if you can come lift both up and try and balance for 4, 3, 2, 1. Heels down. Try and press into those heels to stand all the way up. Release those hands. Heel toe in, heel toe in, heel toe in, and shake it out. All right. We're definitely feeling these hips. If you need a sip of water, it's a great time to take one. We're going to come into some balancing now that we've started to do a little bit of work for those ankles and those feet. We'll take it to a little bit of a balance. Find your right foot. Hold on to those hips, shoulders back and down. Take your left knee and swivel it out. Connect your ankle to your right leg. Okay. Now you can be supported right here. If you want the challenge, lift it up so that the arch of the foot can fit onto the side of the calf. I don't want it on the knee. Knees don't like to go side to side. They like to go forward and backwards. So we can go there if we want a little bit more of a challenge. Option is toe on the floor and it's still a balance. Okay. If you are happy here, stay. For those of us who want to come up even higher, you go above the knee. Okay, so that just depends on hip flexor. Inhaling those hands all the way up. Interlace them. Now we're integrating everything together. Make sure you have a soft knee bend on the right and press those hands up to the sky. Remember those little circles that we were doing. So heel on touching up or up above the knee. And we're going to do those little swivels. Come to the right, swivel a little to the front, come over to the side and back. So now we're just trying to isolate the top part of our body while balancing on the lower part of the body. So 2 things going on differently. Movement at the top, trying to stabilize through the bottom. 1 more time, drawing those nice little circles through the rib cage. Isolation here. And then release it down. Release it all the way. We're going to try that isolation on the other side. So we're finding the implant of the foot of the left on the ground, and there's a soft knee bend. We're taking the other externally rotating it and connecting in. That's option 1. Option 2, a little higher. Option 3, and it doesn't have to be the same on both sides because chances are your legs probably aren't exactly the same on both. And we're just trying to find out the variations of the body. Inhale, rising up. Bring those hands together. Press it to the ceiling. Take a dive with those hands together over to the left side. So we're going away from that right knee. Pull yourself in, and then it's a little crunch to the left side. So it's just a little crunch to the left. So again, the bottom part of our body is just trying to stabilize while top part is moving. We're looking at something on the floor that isn't moving. One more time over to the left side. So these are more about, instead of isolating the abdominals and the crunch here, it's just the side flexion. And then let's go ahead, come back through the center, release those hands, let the left one come all the way down as you reach the right one over your head. I'm going to lose my balance here. It's all good. I'm coming lower because that's a little too aggressive for me. Inhale, come up. And if you lose your balance, that's exactly what I want you to do, right? Losing your balance is part of learning and recuperating those muscles to activate again. And in life, you're not going to be able to walk perfectly all the time. We're going to stumble. The ground is going to be a little uneven. And we want the body to be prepared to compensate when we stumble, when we don't quite have the right mechanism in place to keep us going the way we are normally. It could be tired, it could be weight on arms, carrying a bag, bring those hands down through the center. There's so many variations that happen that we have to accommodate, or the body has to accommodate for. All right, so we've done some standing balance. We're going to take it to a stretch, and I'd like everyone to grab their blocks. Just one. Okay, feet are hip distance apart, shoulders back and down. And this block is on the long side. Okay, soften your knees. Tuck your chin, and we're going to isolate the roll down. Before we did it from the pelvis up, we're doing it from the head down. Tuck the chin, roll the shoulders forward. Let that block, pretend that block weighs the same as a 20-pound bowling ball. Let it pull you down to the floor. Soften those knees and see if you can get that block to touch the floor. And then once that block touches the floor, start to pull up through, roll the shoulders back, come all the way up, stack the head. Okay, so it's the same isolation movement, but now it's from the top down. Tuck the chin, roll the shoulders, vertebrae by vertebrae, soften the knees, bring the block down to the mat. And then we're going to slowly roll all the way up. And then the last thing to come up is the head. One more time. Sometimes we find, oh, these kind of movements, I wish we were going faster. Some of us are completely content with these slower ones. And again, every day is going to be different. So if these ones are a little too slow for you, I just want you to breathe through it and know that nothing lasts forever, so that we're just taking our time. And if we're enjoying this, take all the time to enjoy it, because again, nothing lasts forever. So now that we've done this a couple times, if this feels right for you, stay here. If you want a deeper stretch and a little bit more balance, take your right foot, place it down, take your left foot and put it behind. Now, I've got my toe kind of on the floor and my heel lifted, but I'm going to try and get my ankle on the floor. And you can bring your feet as much together as you want, or you can have a little bit of a gap and a space between, okay? But if you can get them a little bit closer and then roll the shoulders up, back, and down, we're going to do the same thing that we did with our feet separated. So if you need to separate those feet again, you can. But with the right foot on and the left one behind, shoulders up, back, and down. Let the block be heavy like a bowling ball. Tuck the chin. Start to roll down vertebrae by vertebrae and see if you can get the block to touch the floor. Push your bums back and slightly bend those knees. Have we made it to the floor? If we've made it to the floor, slowly roll back up again. And then squeeze your butt. So you're going to notice that there's a lot more butt engagement, and then stack the head. We're going to come down again. So tuck the chin, roll the shoulders forward, place the block on the floor, keep pushing the bum back. So now you're getting a nice little stretch here with these cross legs, and you're activating more of your hamstrings and your glutes. I want you to keep your right hand on the block and see if you can lift your left one into the sky. So now we're doing this twist with our legs crossed. A lot more challenging. Again, bit of balance. Normally your legs aren't crossed and we're reaching up, and then we're going to exhale, bring your hand back to the block. Okay, so I'm just lightly tapping it. Inhale, open up, and then exhale, bring it back down. For those who feel like they can remove their hand, their right hand from the block and put the left hand in it, you can go ahead and lift the left block up. Okay, so or lift the left hand up with the block. So now we're just hanging out down here, lifting up. If that's way too much, keep the hand on the block and just move the hand. Otherwise, we're trying to hover and lift the block. Inhale, lifting up. It requires a lot more concentration, stabilization. You're still working the back and the shoulder. Come back down. You're getting a great big stretch for the lower one. Let's do it one more time just because it's a lot of fun. Inhale, rise up. It's a lot of fun for me, maybe not for you, but I enjoy this one. And then exhale, come back down. Put both of your hands on the block. And then we're going to take that foot and unhook it from the other one. Feet hip distance apart, roll up vertebrae by vertebrae, and come to standing. How'd we do with that one? We're starting to feel a lot of good stuff back here in the legs, things that you might not have known that you needed to stretch out. We are going to do it on the other side. Okay, so it's the left foot that plants, right foot, bring it behind. And it's going to feel a little bit different because now the IT band on the right side is going to get the stretch because it's the one that's crossed behind. So you're going to get all the lengthening right where the IT connects into the hip. Shoulders up, back, and down. Let's start with the first one. Tuck the chin, rolling down. Push your bum back, a little bend in those knees, and see if you can get to the floor. If you can't get to the floor, then we're just rolling up and down again. And then inhale, slowly rolling up. Bring the shoulders up and then stack the head. Now, with your legs crossed, automatically the pelvis is engaged. It's almost like you really have to go to the bathroom really badly. You're squeezing those inner thighs together, and then you're coming down to the floor. So again, by being able to squeeze those legs together, you are activating, especially when you pull back up, squeeze those inner thighs, roll the shoulders up, stack the head last. This time we're going to stay down. So tuck the chin, start to roll down, push your bum back, squeeze those inner thighs. And once you're down, you're going to keep that left hand on the block and see if you can swivel the right one up. And again, it doesn't matter how high you go. You can stop here. But if you can go a little bit higher, squeeze those inner thighs, find that stability, and then exhale, slowly bring that hand down to tap the block. Okay, so normally we don't stand with our legs crossed like this. So this is where the challenge comes in, a different type of balance, even though both feet are on the floor. It's just asking your brain to work slightly differently so that you could compensate should you end up ever in a position where your one foot has to step behind the other. I think of things like sand, snow, changing your mind or stepping on something, and then you have to take a step back. Sometimes that step back is behind the other foot. If you want to try the most aggressive form of this particular posture, then you let the left hand hang out at the bottom, take the right hand and lift it up with the block. A lot more challenge here, a lot more core, a lot more of your hips have to activate, and then exhale, come back down. Wherever you are, you can do a couple more with me. Take breaks where you need to. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, coming back down. And usually in my voice when I'm talking, you can hear the effort. The effort is when I'm coming up here and lifting that block, and you can hear the strain in my voice as I lift. And then I slowly lower down because I'm engaging my core, my butt, and my shoulder. Put both hands on the block. Press into that block and slowly unhook feet. And then once the feet are about hip distance apart, soften those knees, roll back up. Shoulders up, back and down, stack the head, and let's release the block. Let's release these backs. Oh my goodness. Take those feet out nice and wide. You've got a good stable base here. Take a big inhale, rise up. Bring your right hand, twist to the left. Soften those knees a bit, and then inhale, come up. And exhale the other way. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, twist. Now let's not bring those hands as wide. Let's just twist over to the left, wrapping the hands around your ribs, and then twist to the right. And then we can take it nice and slow this way, just noticing how it feels. Or if we want to bring some energy and some flow back into the lower part of the body, start to let those hands just sway. Soften the knees so that we're not putting pressure on the knees, and then just let those hands wrap around. Now, if you feel really good and you want to just let them slap around, I don't know if the microphone can hear it, but I'm just letting those arms wrap around. The energy is coming, the blood is coming into the fingers. I'm twisting out that spine. I'm using my legs. We're going fast. We've been doing a lot of slow. And then after we've done this a couple of times, let it stop. Take an inhale all the way up. Give a little shake here. Take it back in and make your way down to the floor. All right. Probably some of us are thinking, good, I'm glad we're back down to the floor, which is true. We've been standing a lot, doing a lot of work on the legs. So hopefully we feel a little bit more energized now that we've done a little bit of the arm and the movements. We're going to stay on the floor now, but I will give you an opportunity to one more time come into bridge. But if you have that block handy, and again, option only, we're going to try and work the hips together, but we're going to be in an uneven bridge. So if we haven't practiced uneven bridge before, make your way down to the floor. Take one of the blocks and place it underneath your right foot. Now, I am long-footed. Okay, so the block is going to go on my heel and my toes get to hang off the top. Okay, because the energy is going to be in the heel, not in the toes in this particular one. Okay, so if you're long footed like me, the block is going to have stability where your heel is right at the edge and just the tips of your toes can hang off of it. Okay, so we're down, heel on the block, toes a little bit maybe off, but the heel is definitely at the edge and on. Take those hands down by your sides. Give that head a little shake side to side. And we're going to try our first uneven bridge. You're going to be pressing mostly into the right foot, and you're going to lift up, not peel up. So we're not doing the roll. We're just lifting up completely, and you're trying to keep those hips level. What's going to happen is one hip is going to want to go higher, which is the right one because it's higher. What I want you to do is keep it down level when you're looking here so that the pelvic bones, the pubis bone are still in line. Your knees are different levels, and then lower back down. So this is training the pelvis to work, stabilizing so that it's not shifting. Inhale, lifting up. If this is not cool, then just take the block away and then come back down. We'll do it one more time, just lifting up. So we've got a lot of work in the back. The back is warm. The hip flexors are warm. Shoulders are warm. Coming back down. If you feel really confident today, go ahead and lift up and then just try and lift up your left heel. So it's not the one on the block, and then drop it back down. Lift your left heel up. Again, pelvis is stable. My pelvis isn't moving. I'm just lifting up my heel, activating my ankle and my glute. My hips are strong and stable. One more time with the heel and lower back down. If the heel was a challenge, stay with the heel. If you can lift up the heel and lift up the knee, oh my goodness. And then put the toe down, put the heel down. Otherwise, it's just the heel. Lift the heel, lift the knee, try and keep those pelvis stable. Bring the knee down, bring the heel down. We'll do it 2 more times. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. One more time. Anyone who has lower back issues, anyone that feels it's sitting in chairs, this one is designed to help you get nice and strong and maintain that pelvis. Come all the way back down. The foot that was on the block, the right one, cross it over your thigh, and that should feel really good right now. So it's just a figure 4. It's a supine pigeon. We're lying on our backs. Right knee, go ahead and push it a little bit further out. And if you want to thread through, go ahead and pull that knee, that left knee into the chest. And then do a little side to side wander. All right, so this is the last little bit. We got the other side to do, and then we're going to take it to that nice meditation. So if you are game, you know what the deal is. Unhook, place the foot on the floor, place the other one on the floor, and then switch the block. If you need to see where the block is or maybe use your feet, go ahead and put it on the floor. Option to not use the block. And then once we've got our foot on the block, the first one is a tester, hands down by your side, shake out the head. Walk that block in a little closer if you need to. Take an inhale and equally lift the pelvis up. So knees are different heights, pelvis is same height. And then lower back down. This is what it looks like when my pelvis is not level. It looks like this. Okay. And this hip I can see is much higher than this one because I'm now using my hip to try and get height. What I'm doing is dropping that hip and not worrying about how high my hips go and then come back down. 2 more times. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lower back down. Taking that look to make sure those pelvis bones are in line with one another. And come back down. Now, this time we're going to stay up. So go ahead and lift up, lifting that right heel, bringing the right heel down. Nothing's moving with the pelvis. Then drop the pelvis down. Inhale, lift up. Lift the heel. So now my knees are coming closer in line with one another, but not quite. And come back down, and still nothing from my torso is moving. Lift up, lift the heel. If you really want to try, lift the knee up to stack, place the toe down, place the heel down, coming back down. We'll do this 2 more times. Inhale, lift, option just to lift the heel, option to lift that entire leg. Put it back down, down, down. Our last one through. Inhale, lift up, heel up, maybe leg up. Put the toe down, the heel down, the butt down, and grab onto that left ankle. Bring it over onto the right thigh. It can stay here. You don't have to do anything further. If you want, guide the knee away. If the knee is away and you can thread through, pull the right knee into the chest, and then maybe a little side to side rock. And then placing it down, unhooking, and moving that block out of the way. We don't need that block anymore. So if it's in the way, just move it out of the way. Take those arms back to cactus arms so that the elbows are bent. And we'll do that little sway side to side with the hips. So just a little rock to one side, a little rock to the other. One more time, a little to one side, and then to the other. Now I want you to see if you can rock all the way over to the right side. Okay, so I'm hoping that you can see. I'm going to change so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so that my knees are stacked. If you need the support of a block or two, here's what you can do. You can just take those blocks and stack them up just in case you find that your shoulders pulling up or your hips are a little tight. Those blocks are there for you to stack. You can also bring those knees to the floor. And if that top hip feels a little uncomfortable, you can put a block in between your leg. So use your tools the way you want to. If both of the knees are on the floor and you would like a little bit more, this is where you can take the right leg, slide it out, and bring the ankle on top of the knee. So now we're getting a big pressure down. If you're using the blocks at all, this is not for you. It's only for anyone who felt like they could take a little bit more from here. And again, it's not about getting into these postures, right? There's no perfect position. There's nothing to be gained by the body going into a higher posture that the body is not ready for. It's only for those. I like to give a multifaceted class. So if you happen to have really open hips, you can come into this posture, and it's just going to let the weight of that bottom, that right leg, pressing down on the left one. And then you're just taking that left shoulder and revolving it down. It can be lifted, but it's just a revolve down. If you would like to look all the way to the left side, you're getting that cervical spine involved, and you're taking a nice deep breath in. And you're letting it go. So we've got a twist, we've got an opening, we've got a shoulder opening, we've got cervical spine, and we're just breathing. Two more nice deep breaths. Try and fill the lungs up. Again, using the belly to expand as opposed to your trapezius muscles in the shoulders. If you have your right foot on top of the left, unhook it. If you've got blocks, just remove them and come on to your back, and we'll do everything onto the other side. So press your heels into the floor. You can lift up the spine a little bit and realign back down. So vertebrae by vertebrae, you drop back down. And so now we're in that back to neutral spine. And then we can let the knees drop to the other side. Again, using our blocks, maybe letting those knees drop completely all the way to the side, and just taking a moment here using blocks. This is our opportunity to play and see if we feel better with blocks. This is our opportunity to let the hips start to know that it's being stretched on the other side, the spine, and that right shoulder comes down. If we are comfortable in this one and we want to try and take that left leg, slide it out, place the ankle on top of the right knee, then we can let the weight of that other leg come and open up QL, hip, glutes, lower back, shoulder comes down. Pec minor is the one that's opening up through the front of the body, the anterior part of the body. And then we can turn and look all the way over to the right side for cervical spine. So many things going on here, so many opportunities to stay in a position that works for your body. Two more nice big breaths. In through the nose and out through the nose. It's that calming breath. One more time, a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, relax the shoulders, relax your hips. Try not to hold on to that tension. Just let gravity pull you down. If you happen to be having those legs crossed up, unhook and then slowly make your way back onto your spine. Once we're on our spine, gently lifting up the pelvis again, and then vertebrae by vertebrae, bringing yourself down so we're back in alignment. Now those hands, they can be above your head. If you like that idea of stretching out those abdominals, you can bring those hands above your head again. If you would like, you can have them down by your side. Anywhere you want to put those hands, you can even interlace those fingers and cradle your head. And then those knees, again, they can touch and the feet just slightly outside the hips, and this will take some of the pressure off the back. Or if you'd like to elongate those legs out one at a time, go ahead and lengthen out and let the feet fall out to the side. And once we've gotten into this position again, now that we've been active, now that we've done pelvic floor, we've done hips, we've done shoulders, we've done circulations, circumductions here and there and everywhere, we've balanced a bit, we've gotten the whole body to activate. So now we're going to try and bring it back into that calmness. So let's talk about the face. Let the lips part. Pull the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Soften around the eyes. Just try and let all of the facial expressions just melt. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, release the tension in the face. If those fingertips are accessible and those wrists are accessible, wiggle those fingers, roll those wrists. We were on them for a little bit in the class, holding on to those blocks. So just use those fingers to wiggle around, spread them out as wide as you can, like starfish. Ball your fist up really tight, pull it in, spread those fingertips as wide as you can, ball up one more time, and then release those hands. Relax the shoulders, check in with the jaw again and the face. Take a deep breath in. Let hands, wrists, shoulders, and face relax. We're going to bring that same awareness to the toes. So if the toes are accessible, give them a little wiggle. Then roll those ankles a little bit side to side, forward and backwards. Maybe do some circumductions or some lateral flexions, dorsiflexions, whatever works. They can go the same direction. They can go opposite. They can go different speeds. Again, so many options. Just do what feels right. And then let's go ahead, pull our toes back, flex at the heels, and you're trying to get the heels to lift. If your legs are completely outstretched like mine, you're trying to lift the heels off of the floor. If you're working with one leg at a time, then you're just circling and pointing and flexing. One more time, lifting and pointing And then letting it go. Take a deep breath in. Let go of the tension in the feet, in those calves, in those quads, in the hip flexors, in the glutes. Letting go of the tension in the face, in the fingers, in the shoulders. Last part of the body is the torso. We're going to go back to that very aware breathing. So try and relax the shoulders. Take a deep breath in. Try only to use your diaphragm and lift up the belly. So big inhale, no shoulders, nothing else is moving except the belly rising up. And then exhale, see if you can get the spine to relax down onto the mat. We'll do this diaphragmatic breath a couple more times. Big inhale, rising the belly up as much as you can. Then exhale, let the spine melt, let the shoulders melt, release the tension in the face. One more time, a nice big inhale. Exhale, and just find that relaxation on your mat. Going back into our body scans if we need to, into our breath. Just taking the next few minutes just to lie with no movement, no thought, not worrying about anything I'm asking you to do with your body. You're just one at peace, lying still, letting the mind go blank, except for thoughts of relaxation, muscle release, breath, calmness. If you need a little longer in your Shavasana, it's feeling good, meditation, just following the breath, releasing the tension is where you need to be. Please feel free to stay exactly as you are and just ignore what I'm saying. That is the true ability of meditation. It's not about being completely void of all thoughts. It's about focusing your thoughts and letting all of the things that are going on around you, just let them happen. But you stay focused in on what is mattering to you. And if you can do that and focus in on what makes the most sense to you at the time that you need to and let the world just continue on, that is where we are able to start to make better judgments, feel more stable. We're not letting all of the other influences impact and make our nervous system start to activate. So if it is still time for you to practice this laying on the floor and just letting everything else happen, please feel free to do so. But if it is time to make those movements, wiggle fingers and toes, Rolling those wrists and those ankles, little movements any way that feel right. If legs are outstretched, bending a knee, doing the same thing with the other knee. If the hands are overhead, bring them down by your side one at a time. And again, just one at a time so that we're not overextending the use of our muscles. So we can just isolate one at a time. Pull one knee into the chest, grab onto it with a hand. Pull the other knee into the chest, grab onto it with the other hand. And then let's do a little circle to one direction. So giving some love back to the sacrum, maybe go the other way. You can either roll onto your side or do a couple little side to side rocks to build the momentum, and then choose a side to roll onto. Let those knees stack. Use your bottom arm to stabilize your head like a pillow. Bring that top hand in front of your belly. Just give me a sideline posture for a second. Just notice how the body transition. You can feel shoulders stacked, hips stacked. When you're ready to make your way up, use your hands to start to press up. Come back to a comfortable seated posture, maybe legs in shoelace pose or outstretched, shoulders up, back, and down. Nice deep breath in, rise up, look to the sky. Exhale, float down through the center, chin to the chest. We'll do it one more time. Big reach, big inhale, big movement all the way up. Exhale, floating down through the center. Thank you, everyone, for your practice this morning. I will turn off the camera, and if you have any questions, I'll stick around. Otherwise, let me stop here.